Balan Wonderworld could have been a fun, charming, and interesting 3D platformer to dig yourself into, but unfortunately I would only count one of those things to be true. On the forefront, you are what can only be considered kidnapped by the hat-wearing bean, and are now tasked with helping the troubled souls of 12 other individuals. And that's when you're thrown into the game, and where some of my biggest gripes lie. The sense of directions seems to be missing. Obviously, we know to get to the end of a level to complete it, but after that, a game should at least hint at the goal that you're trying to get to. In Balan Wonderworld, I completed the first chapter, which consisted of 2 levels and a boss, before being taken back to the hub world, which in and of itself has no direction. I then took some time wandering around that very small hub world to find out that I could feed these creatures with the collected gems from the levels, but ultimately that never led to anything worthwhile, and so I moved on. Not knowing where to go next because Chapter 2 was nowhere to be found, I replayed Chapter 1 several times, collecting more statues that eventually filled a bar, and then Chapter 2 and 3 both appeared. I don't know why the game never told me that that was my objective, but it was highly annoying to figure out for myself. Talking about the levels themselves, they are often boring and short. They contain the said collectible gems and statues and power-ups. The power-ups change typically with each level, and some are needed in order to reach some of the statues or to carry on with the level. The problem with these are that if you lose them, you have to backtrack, sometimes an annoying amount, just to get it again so that you can proceed. One piece I have failed to mention so far is that this is a one-button game. Aside from changing the costumes, the triggers and the face buttons all do the same thing, even in the menus. The action button, any of the buttons, will jump when you're not wearing a costume, and they will perform the costume's ability depending on what you're wearing. Some of the costumes have abilities that are not jumping related, so that means that your jump is taken away. That is the most basic ability that I can think of that is needed in a platformer, and it is a problem when it does not exist. At the top of the review, I did say that one of those attributes was true, and that's probably charming. At times, the game is very much charming, but again, unfortunately, I tend to lose that charm when actually playing the game. I am playing this on an Xbox One X, and while the cutscenes looked great, at times the gameplay world looks like it came out of a PlayStation 2. That's not very acceptable. Not to mention the frame drops that I encountered while playing as well. All in all, Balan Wonderworld is uninspiring and boring to play. A lack of instruction mixed with some of the most basic platforming abilities missing at times makes the game a chore, unfortunately. That said, make the decision for yourself if this looks interesting to you and if you want to give it a go. I personally think that as a full price $60 game, there is a lot missing here. Be sure to go to xboxtavern.com where I'll have the final scores for the game. Thank you.